Welcome everybody, live on AfroSurgeRadio.com. My name is Marlon Solomon. We're about to get things started. I want to apologize for the late start. Having technical difficulties today. All right, the year is starting off a bit problematic. Won't be much different from 2020, but here we go. So let's get this puppy on the road. All right, welcome to the Village Square. My name is Marlon Solomon, and I'll be your host today. This is the Community Zoomcast podcast for Wednesday, January 6, 2021. Broadcasting live on Afro Surge Radio. Check out Afrimerican TV. We're broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, Afrimerican TV. We're broadcasting live on Facebook on Afrimerican Vibes. So welcome everybody to the program. This program is brought to you by the Afrimerican Culture Initiative, a Boston-based nonprofit organization with the mission to build cultural bridges in the African diaspora through education, technology, and travel. I'm Marlon Solomon, your host and founder of the organization. And the state of the Village Squared is hopeful, but weary. The community now is in a state where we're hopeful because we have at least sanity is on the horizon. It seems there's going to be a change in, in administrations. Looks like we're going to have a new president here in the next couple of weeks. So we're very, very excited that at least things can go on because, especially with our coronavirus focus, the leadership, it seems as if the vacuum of leadership is affecting our communities disproportionately. So it's very important to us that we monitor this situation to see what's going to happen, but the vaccines are getting rolled out extremely slow. General mismanagement, no funding from the federal government to ensure that we are having, all what we need. And we're weary because it's just simply just very tiring. People, we are rolling up on close to a year of dealing with the pandemic. And in that year, we've learned a lot. We've been through a lot. We're still going through a lot. And if not for the hope that is around the horizon, I don't know where we would be. So anyway, without further ado, let me jump right into the program. All right. So, as usual, we're doing our COVID-19 watch. We remind everybody that this program was founded primarily and started primarily because we wanted to give our community access to some of the information out there, coalesce all the information into some easily done ways and present that every week. So this is what we're doing. So we want to remind you, our message is to do your research and make the decision to join the fight against COVID-19. That's our overall message. The idea behind this message is that we want people to do their own research, right? Don't just take it from me. If it's life and death, we feel that everybody should want to spend however long it takes, maybe 30 minutes a week or an hour a week, to learn and to find out what's going on. We know that the news can be kind of inundating, overwhelming, but it's necessary. This is life and death. I've said it many times here on Village Square that many wars are fought with people like soldiers that we send far away so that they can, to fight on our behalf. But in this case, this war, this enemy is at our very doorstep. It's going to require all of us to do what we can to ensure that we are doing our best to fight this pandemic, not just for us, but for other people. Mm-hmm. So, what are the things we can do? We can stay fit, exercise, mental health, make sure you're doing the right things. This holiday I had a lot of work that I had to do, but I made myself watch some silly movies, and I binge watched Mandalorian, the Star Wars thing. I never watched it, but I watched the whole 2 seasons. And just to get my mind off of it, right? Just to break away from the whole, right? From the whole work scene. You just have to take care of your mental health. Then also improve your diet, right? What you are, what you eat. So let us all think about that. The standard ones: wash your hands, right? Maintain your personal hygiene, especially when you're leaving your immediate surroundings. When I go to the grocery store, I do the hand sanitizer when I go in. I do the hand sanitizer when I go out. I avoid touching my face in the interim. I realize that there's going to be, and I take, maybe if I see some of the wipes that they have, the disinfecting wipes, I wipe out stuff. But the point is, I know that it's going to come in through my hands, most likely in the grocery store. So you have to be careful. Wear a mask. Standard operating. Avoid places that are indoor crowds, like a restaurant, because even then you can't wear a mask and eat, can you? So you must avoid these kind of places. Socially distance, stay away from people. And what I noticed is, once you get it into a routine, you'll automatically, like, I haven't been around a lot of people. So once you get around to somebody new, it'll just, tingle off some, oh, let me stand back, let me be careful, right? Contact trace. This doesn't mean that you should start one contact tracing program. What this means is that you and I have got to start remembering, keeping a routine, and remembering what you've done in the last 3 days. So in the last 3 days, what have I done? I went out and saw one friend, so I know that at least I have one contact, right? And I need to now think about that. For the last 3 days, who have I been in contact with? Because if I was infected now, from when I saw my friend, then the last 3 days, if I've been in contact, I could be infectious. I have to remember those people, because if something goes down, I got to give them a ring. Finally, get vaccinated. I know that it's a hierarchy, meaning that some people are going to get vaccinated now, some people will have to get vaccinated later. But you can take your flu shot now. The idea is that we're trying to reduce hospitalizations, and as we'll go over in the program later, hospitalization, we have an example going on in California today. Very gruesome stories we're hearing, and they're rationing care in California. Can you imagine? Some people they're not going to get a chance to even survive. So anyway, that being said, please check out Afrimerican TV on YouTube, where we have a lot of, and subscribe. We have a lot of information. A lot of our videos are on there. And also go to our website, www.afrimerican1.org. There are downloadable flyers. There's links to resources, loads of stuff to do with COVID-19. So thank you so much. But let's get that done. Now, the numbers for this week. The numbers for this week are, we have about, in Massachusetts, we had 9,500 cases with 65 deaths, which is up from last week when we had 48 deaths. So we're trending in the wrong direction. We're now going to begin to see what's happening in regards to our the Christmas break and all the other things that will happen 2 to 3 weeks after that. So we're beginning to see a little bit of that surge now, right? It's been 2 weeks plus since Christmas. Next week, we'll really begin to see it. In Texas, I'm also following Texas because my family is also in Texas, just to give you a good contrast. We had 31,000 cases reported. I have never seen anything like that. They've been teetering around 20,000 for the past, but all of a sudden it's now gone to 30,000 with 268 deaths. Last week, they had 135 deaths. So they've doubled the amount of deaths in 1 week. The USA has 239,000 cases, with yesterday reporting 3,664. Let me just point out this easy statistic, my brothers and sisters. The last 3 days of 2020, 10,000 plus people died. So every 3 days, 10,000 people die from coronavirus. Around October, I've been doing this since July. Around October, November, it used to take a week for 10,000 people to die. Now it's just 3 days. And it's going to get worse. It does not care that it's killing people. This virus is not going to care about, it doesn't even care about the statistic. It's just trying to grow and infect as many people. That's its job. We are at war, ladies and gentlemen. How do I describe this more? The only tools we have right now are these: stay fit with, exercise, mental health, and healthy diet, washing hands, wearing a mask, socially distance, contact trace, and get vaccinated, my people. Because we are trying to stop these hospitalizations. We're going to get into that very, very soon, because we have record hospitalizations, right? 130,000 hospitalizations, record deaths in so many states. So we're going to talk a little bit about California. What's going on in California, my brothers and sisters? We don't wish on anywhere. But unfortunately, and they've just gone into, I think, full lockdown. Same as England, London, full lockdown now. There's no playing around. And it's unfortunate that the politics is driving the narrative. Because, in my opinion, once you start seeing it trending in the wrong place, there is no, we're going to scale back just a little bit so we can have our cake and eat it too. And I know it's tough. The economic fallout, we're going to talk about that a little later. I know it's tough, but it just doesn't matter, because guess what? It doesn't matter to the virus. We have got to take this thing like a war and shut down. If I was your president, we'd shut down anywhere that is looking dangerous. Shut it all down. Let's get this thing under control. Fortunately, it's not happening. So what's happening in California, you say? California is rationing care. They're running out of oxygen. They're running out of staff. They're running out of space. But the space and the machines and the things are not the critical issue, because you can always buy another bed. You can always convert that, maybe a maternity ward into a COVID ward. You can always do that with machines, but then who is going to be the one staffing these places? And mind you, it's not like these heroes, these frontline medical workers, it's not like they are not, how would you say? It's not like they are not tired and human. They are. And they've been going for 10 months now. However, it doesn't seem like there's any hope, there's any respite for them in the near future anyway. So what else are they doing? They're running out of oxygen. So what they told the ambulance that when you pick people up, and if the person has had a cardiac arrest and has not been able to, be resuscitated, because what they'll do is that, like, let's say somebody has a heart attack, the ambulance comes to pick them up. If they look like they may not survive, they're telling them to not give them the oxygen. They need oxygen for people with COVID patients. So, and they should not bring them to the hospital. So when you get there, the person's already kind of unresponsive. Normally they'll put the oxygen on. They'll be doing compression, trying to save the person's life by any means necessary. They're not going to save their life by any means necessary anymore. They're not going to put the oxygen on to just maybe hope that maybe, keep your brain with oxygen a little bit as much as they can. So maybe there can be a chance that you can survive, and none of that. They get there, you're completely, just forget it, man. The guy's a goner. We can't afford it. That's stage one. We're going to be monitoring this situation very closely, because I imagine that, considering that nobody cared about Christmas, everybody wanted to have fun. And that goes into the messaging. I really feel that a lot of the problems we've had with COVID-19 has been this propensity for not wanting to shock the population, cause panic. I get it, but I don't think the people are as soft as they think they are. And I think that it's better to shock them one time and then get them to follow the rules one time, rather than this drip of information and this dilution of information that I believe is invariably causing us to feel more relaxed. Case in point, we've all heard about the coronavirus variants. For those who haven't, the variants are changes, mutations in the virus, I guess, as a result of passing through, infecting more people, being exposed to different environment. Remember, the virus is trying to live too. So it's adapting to its environment. And the first adaptation has been a more rapidly spreading coronavirus. Now, you're saying, Marlon, well, that is exactly what they told us. They told us that if that this virus isn't more deadly, however, it infects 70% faster. Now, this is my problem with that messaging. It is inherently dishonest. And you say, what do you mean by that? Are they lying to us? No, they're not lying to us. They're stating the facts. The virus, if you had one little, I don't know what they call it, one drop of virus. They had one drop of virus of the variant, and one drop of the virus of the original coronavirus. They will not kill more people. The variant one will not kill more people than the coronavirus. That is what they're saying by it is not more deadly. I get that. But the reason why I figure it's inherently dishonest is because, let us take this analogy. If I have a car and my car is parked in my driveway, my car is not so deadly. But if my car is driving 120 miles an hour, my car is deadly. So speed of transmission to me means increased speed in infection, which means more people are going to get infected faster, which means that our hospitalizations will increase faster, fill up our hospitals faster, and people will eventually die faster. Now, is it more deadly like one drop to one drop? No. But the fact that one is going 70% faster than the other is going to invariably kill more people faster. And the whole point of all these mitigation efforts, the whole stay fit, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, contact trace, get vaccinated. The whole point of that is to remember this term when they said we want to flatten the curve. The whole point of flatten the curve is to delay the amount of infections that we have, the rate, how fast the infections are occurring, to allow our medical infrastructure to maintain its integrity until we can get the vaccine, so we can achieve herd immunity without the whole community dying of infection. I'll say that again. The point of flattening the curve, the point of all the things they're telling you to do, wash your hand, wear a mask, socially distance, contact trace, vaccinate, stay fit. The point of all that is so that we slow down the rate of infection, thus slowing down the rate of infection, the hospitalization, and ultimately the deaths. Right? So that our hospital systems will not get overwhelmed and we can hold that off until we get a vaccine where people will get immune to the vaccine, the coronavirus. That is what all we're doing. So if this is speeding that up, if this new variant is speeding that up, it's invariably more deadly. And that is the message that I bring to my community today. So please, everybody, be careful. It is more vigilant, right, than the other one. This is the Debo of coronaviruses, or one of the Debos, I don't know. So that's the problem with the messaging. The messaging is that there is a more deadlier coronavirus variant out there, but it's not, it's more deadly because of the speed of transmission, not because of it's physically more deadly. Right? There are two variants right now, the UK variant and the South African variants. Both are supposed to be faster spreaders. The UK variant is supposed to be 70% faster, and I think the South African variant has a little more variation that apparently may cause a little less efficiency of the vaccine, but all in all, everybody thinks the vaccine will be able to handle all of these variants. Right? Now, definitely in this part of this program that we're doing here, which I might add, we've been we are about to be funded by the Boston Public Health Commission to do some dissemination of this information into our communities. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, right? DNA inside they're taking your DNA, the vaccine will, turn you purple. There's all sorts. And this misinformation actually manifested itself in a pharmacist. So there was a report of a man, a pharmacist, and he's been arrested for sabotaging the vaccines. There was the Moderna vaccine was in his pharmacy, I guess where he works, the pharmaceuticals care. He left it out overnight so that the vials would be non-valid. 500 vial, which is like thousands of doses. It's not like one vial per dose or whatever. And that's what he did. And these conspiracy theories, like it won't even work. In Nigeria, I'm getting a lot of feedback from my friends and family that they are catching coronavirus. And it's somehow, it doesn't affect Africa. These are the conspiracy theories. And yes, Africa is doing well, but that's because maybe it has to do with health. I can overall say, okay, maybe it does have to do with health, right? We have maybe healthier people, less obesity, But there is high blood pressure and other things, but you know, maybe it does have to do with it. I don't know why. But that doesn't mean it's not going to mutate. And the UK, I believe the UK variants that spreads faster may cause more problems. Definitely in places like where. So the conspiracy theories are causing a problem, right? Even a pharmacist that's supposed to believe in science. I think that's the moral of this story, is that a man that went to school, spent money to become a pharmacist, believes that he believes that the Moderna vaccine is going to be harmful to human beings, so he's trying to stop them from taking it. So he now sabotaged the vials by leaving them out of the refrigerator so that they will spoil. This is a man that believes, he must believe in some sort of medicine, obviously, right? And this is where I feel that the medical community henceforth needs to take a serious look at some of these conspiracy theories. Now, of course, this man's a white man, so his own is a different thing. But I know that the racial component is extremely true. So it's conspiracy theory kind of but it's not, because there was experimentations on Black people, right? There was forced sterilization of Black women. Black people were kept in zoos. These things, the trauma caused by these racial events is true. But because of the times have changed, people are still not trusting that the times have changed. Right? And so these vaccines, we need to really combat these conspiracy theories because they're very, very dangerous. The vaccine is being rolled out slowly. That is a mismanagement from the government, which has been a standard hallmark of this outgoing administration. At the current rate, it will take about 10 years to reach herd immunity, which means invariably slower time of recovery. So going at this rate, we're going to be having lockdowns and things like that all throughout 2022. That's what it means. If this happens, it's not going to end. So this whole thing of summer, it'll die down in the summer, obviously, because of the weather. But it's only for a little bit. And who's to know what variant is going to be around then? The UK variant was discovered, I think, in the UK in September. So that means that the original coronavirus started in March, February, and within 6 months or so, it had already mutated. So it's every 6 months that we're going to see a new mutation, and which mutation is going to come next. Which is why we need to take our vaccines, because it is not something that is going to go away. Oh, I don't take my vaccine, somehow it's going to be okay. Next year, you may have a premorbidity, and it may get you then. Remember, my kidneys are fine now, but my kidneys may not be fine in the next year or two. And if that happens, then coronavirus is ready to scoop me up. A doctor that I worked with once told me that this virus is like the angel of death. It just comes for the weak. So let's go into the stimulus checks that went out, right? They went out, and I really think it's really sad that they only got out this little amount. But let's see, now that it looks like we are going to have another. It looks like we're going to have another. Maybe some more stimulus coming out, but people need help. We need the stimulus check doesn't need to be some small, like, oh, you've done something for the people. If you really want this economy to come back, which is what I'm going to talk about extensively now. If you want this economy to come back, all right, we need a bridge from the now to when the vaccines are out and we reach herd immunity. That is what is needed. and all the expenses and the debt, forget that. There's no, you untalk. This is where the messaging goes on. Like, oh, we don't want to spend. We're worried about deficits. And now they're worried about, no, this is the war. You spend the money on the war. Then after the war, you worry about that. Because our timeline to recovery as of now is like, well, I'm going to tell you what the timeline is now. So right now, right, we're in first part of January. By the end of January will be the maximum amount of deaths. Now, early February will be the max. Now, this all will end when the lockdowns come. I am predicting widespread lockdowns for much of the United States of America. Why? The only reason why you wouldn't have a lockdown is because you have governments that don't want, they don't want to upset their population. Some politics, but technically speaking, I expect widespread lockdowns. We already have one in California. We already have one in London, England. I expect widespread lockdowns, and that will be the beginning to cut down the transmission. That will now, so that means that we're looking at, okay, we said that the peak is going to be at the end of this month. Lockdowns will come. It'll take 4 to 6 weeks. So now for the lockdowns to completely take effect. So we're now looking at mid-March to April. All right, when we start coming out and rolling it back out, maybe. Okay. That means that if the vaccines are not widespread by, I don't know, widespread by end of April, by beginning of April, we're going to be going to lockdown, going back, and yeah, we're going to be living with it, but the economy is destroyed. All the restaurants, gig workers, all that is just going to be hand on foot. And my biggest fear, before I move on to the political side, my biggest fear is that, you see, right now we're in the midst of the pandemic. Everybody is bracing and keeping quiet, trying to stay alive. Once let's say we get past the herd immunity, and we get to herd immunity this year, and everything is great, we're going to have the honeymoon period. We're all going to be happy, but we're going to go out, we're going to do this. Who's going to go out and who's going to do this? You ain't going to have been able to get proper work for almost more than a year now. You're going to be broke. So there is going to be no money to go into the restaurants. They're going to open up restaurants. There's going to be nobody to go to because it's only a few people that can afford it. Only the rich people that are making money during the stock market. So it's not going to be like this, oh, we're done and now let's go back to our normal lives. Because a lot of people are not going to have the money to go back to their normal lives. A lot of people are going to be homeless. A lot of people are going to be broke and can't feed their kids and in food lines. And that's when the blame game is going to start. And of course, we're going to have the ex-presidents probably making things worse. So that's what I'm worried about. But for now, let's go to Georgia on our political watch, where Georgia spoke or is speaking like Kamala Harris. I'm speaking. I can't wait for her to be the president of the Senate. She's the president of the Senate, but I can't wait for it to be tied up. So it's looking very good for Democrats. CNN has called Warnock to be the next senator from the state of Georgia, the first Black man to hold the post, a realization and manifestation of personalization of Dr. King's dream. He speaks from the pulpit of Martin Luther King. John Lewis also attended the church. This is the chickens coming to roost. And also it seems as if, although they have not called it, at this very moment, he is in the lead by 4.4 percentage points. So it looks like Ossoff is heading, and all the remaining ballots that are meant to be counted are going to come from heavily Democratic heavily Democratic counties in Georgia. So it's looking like George Ossoff is going to be the winner. Now that's awesome. It's not going to be the end of the road, but it's awesome because at least we get to dictate the agenda and we can stop the reign of Moscow Mitch McConnell. So yeah, Georgia is speaking, and Ossoff is a son of a Jewish immigrant. So we have a Jew and we have a black person, the two senators from Georgia. Times are a-changing. This diversity is a threat to many of the core, they're not conservative. The core conspirators, the Tea Partiers, the extreme radical right wing. Their diversity scares them. They don't want to negotiate with people of our kind. And this is going to cause a very big problem especially with Trump and Pence today. They have, we reported a new record. Sorry, I just saw it on the news. 3,775,000 deaths yesterday. That's a new record. And we only have, out of all the doses, let me just go into what I'm going on. I'm getting some new information here with our hospitalizations. Only about 4.8 million people that have been vaccinated. Sorry. But see, it's tied into this politics because it's the lack of leadership that is causing us to have these problems with the coronavirus. And the issue that I'm having and why this is very serious is that we are dealing with a group of the Republican Party that are not dealing in reality. So how do we negotiate? How do we talk? It's like we're talking about, who's going to become the president? And they're saying it's the Easter Bunny. And then now you have to negotiate between talking to somebody who believes the Easter Bunny is going to be the president. And the conversation is starting from Easter bunnies are fictitious. You really can't use, but they're telling you no. Easter Bunny is going to be president. And you have to start it. So once you start the conversation from Easter Bunny is not real, that only real human beings can be president, once you start from that ridiculous point of view, there's really nothing there. You're not really having the same discussion, are you? So you can't. It's not possible. I believe it's impossible to have conversations with people who are not dealing in reality. Because before you have a conversation, we must agree on the facts. In this case, the facts are that imaginary bunny rabbits cannot be the president of the United States. That's the fact. If you cannot agree on that fact, then we have no argument. And that is what the problem is coming from, is that Trump and his Retrumplicans, the Tea Partiers, are not dealing in reality. So despite all the court cases, including the Supreme Court that was at 3 members of the 9-person panel were put in by Trump, it is a 6-3 conservative majority. All the recounts and counts and audits, every single one, and they had about 60 cases that failed. You've had every opportunity to express every legal avenue, and you've had every opportunity to present all your evidence, and there was no evidence from none. And that's the reality. And if you cannot agree on that reality, and you're still here trying to overturn the election, we're not even having the same discussion. This has nothing to do with, once you agree on the facts, then we can have a discussion. So they're even talking about him now going into pardoning himself. That's insanity. The Trump call to the Georgia state elector that got leaked this last weekend, where he's there basically begging, like, give me a break. Out of reality. And when he leaves, he's still going to say it's rigged, and he's going to carry all his voters and be the 2nd president of the Confederate States of America. there's going to be another country that does not recognize this country. And I advise everybody to go and look at the history. If you look at the history, or go to our Afrimerican TV, and if you go to Afrimerican TV, go to Abolitionists Call Culturally Divided. We just did that. I did that show December 16th of last year, and you'll see what's happening now. But basically, this has all happened before. This is what happened in the Civil War. So Trumpism is here to stay. We're going to be combating it. My son and my children, that's what they're all going to be doing. And all I can say is that let's just continue to be hopeful and let us speak the truth. Speak the truth to power. This is the time. All right. All right. That's enough for our show, but we're going to go into excuse me. We're going to do a little bit about the Celtics. Man, the Celtics are 5-3. Of course, the beginning of the season has just been rocky. Young players trying to find their way. I'm very excited about this team. Are they a championship team? I don't think so. But are they trending in that way? Yes. I mean, they gave the keys to the team to Tatum and Brown, and they have not been disappointed. Brown hit 44 points. He has been literally on fire. He has been the best player on the Celtics this season, the most consistent, the best. Jason Tatum is now bringing up his game, obviously, because and they're playing off each other perfectly. It's like they're brothers. That's one thing I always knew. Like they came in together, basically, they're brothers. And Jason Tatum's passing and Brown's offensive execution, their defensive pressure, everything. It's just a matter of time before they get that leadership. And also the experience. They have been to the Eastern Conference Finals for the last 3 or 4 years. So these boys are going to be something dangerous. And they're both young and vibrant, and all they just need to do is stay healthy. The team has got a lift in the Pritch. Woo! The rookie from Oregon has come in and had his career high 23 points and 8 assists because of Marcus Smart and Jeff Teague were not our backup point guards, and our starting point guard and Kemba are all out. And Pritchard did not disappoint. This boy is a special kid. He's scrappy. He's got this little grit, about him. Danny Ainge kind of guy. Is fearless. He plays the right way. High basketball IQ. I love the Pritch. I call him the Pritch. They're trying to think of his name. They call him P Rabbit. The best one out of all the nicknames I've heard is 8 Mile. And 8 Mile is just that, right? He's all that. So those are the 3 major things that have happened with the Boston Celtics this year. Tatum, Brown are doing great, career highs, having great games, getting to get our team. Our team is getting their identity. They tried this double big matchup, which is, I understand what he's trying to do, but let me just I don't think it should be a double big lineup. But what I like is the emergence of what I call them the Band-Aids, because they used to just be put in for defense and they didn't have any offense. But now they're developing some offense, and that is Grant Williams and Semi Ojeleye. He's not Ojeleye, it's Ojeleye. And these guys, I saw a lineup with Tatum and Brown and Tristan Thompson in the middle, with Semi Ojeleye and Grant Williams on the wings. That was a very important, because both of them can shoot threes. You have to respect them. So they put those 2 in the corner, and then did pick and roll with Jaylen Brown. The space was amazing. But on the defensive end, you have a huge team, because Semi Ojeleye is a solid 4. I think Semi's a solid 4. Grant Williams it's not exactly a solid 4, but he's closer to a 4 than a 3. and they can both shoot threes, and they can switch on defense. That was a very interesting lineup. But of course, it's the injuries that we're dealing with that will now invariably lead to chemistry issues, and our defense needs to pick it up. I don't know what we're doing. Our defense is usually very tight. It is not that tight this year, so we've got to do something in that. In other NBA news, I think the only notable story that I really like was Steph Curry dropping 62 points. He was doing it all. Inside, outside, fadeaways, floaters, and of course, the three-pointers that he falls down on the face. 62 points for a new career high. Big up Steph Curry. I'm glad to see it. It was really exciting to let everybody know that he's back, right? In others, Boston sports news, Patriots are done stick a fork in them. I don't think they're going to see Cam Newton anymore because I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. He really just doesn't have he just can't make the plays anymore. Anyway, so I want to thank everybody. Now we're getting to the actual end of our program today. And sorry, I started off late today, but like I said, I had a little bit of technical difficulties. So once again, like I said, we have this COVID-19 program. Messaging. It's called Do Your Research, Make the Decision. Join the fight against COVID-19. We want you to stay fit, exercise, mental health, and healthy diet. Wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance. Stay away from indoor crowds. Contact trace. Remember your contacts for at least 3 days so that if you get infectious, you know who to contact. And also get vaccinated or the flu shot, right? We don't want our hospitals to fill up, okay? So that is the main thing that I want everybody to look at, right? Now, our first event of this year will be the dinner with the doctor, right? And we have a very special guest, Gloria Fernandez, and she is going to be doing a cooking demonstration. So we're going to have a message by Dr. King. And then after the message of Dr. King, we're going to discuss that message. And then we're going to have a cooking demonstration, which should be very interesting. So this will be happening Monday, January 8th. This is MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 2020. This coming up in a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks, at 1 p.m. It's a free webinar. Get your tickets on Eventbrite as usual. And I can't wait because this is going to set the tone. I'm going to really set the tone for this year. This year is about self-determination, cultural pride. These are the main focuses. We're not going to be ashamed to be Black or talk about what it is to be Black and what we have and what we don't have as African Americans. And we're going to, because I'm very big on the cultural food issue. I think that this is one of the keys we have to our overall health is combating the exploitation in food. And so we're gonna set it off rocking like that. All right. So please go get your tickets. Also, Black History Month. We're gonna have a soft launch for the Afrimerican Academy. Get some people signed up. Let us let them participate, understand, go into the programming, see what works, see what doesn't work. And it's going to be fun. The Afro-American Academy. I mean, I'm so excited. We have over 200 classes and 7 curriculum, and we're going to be teaching people about, it's an empowering curriculum. By the time you go through all our content, you will understand more about the world we live in and what we need to do to survive. So Afro-American Academy, you can go online. We're actually online now. Go to our website, Afro-American Academy, go to online education, and you'll see our Afro-American Academy where you can sign up, where you can go in and sign up for classes and take some free classes now. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming to the Village Square. See you next week. Please check out our COVID-19 resource hub. That's www.afrimerican1.org/COVID-19. We have a lot of great resources on there. I just posted a new page on there, which is our downloadable materials, where we have flyers for you to download, as well as videos for you to watch that we've produced. So please go and check that out. Or you can go to Afrimerican TV on YouTube, where we've got a lot of not just our content, but other content. We've added them on there. So please, and we need your feedback. If you would like to be a participant or find out more information, please email us at info@afrimerican1.org. So once again, I want to thank everyone for attending this week's episode, the first episode of the year. Happy New Year. And let's get it cracking. This year, 2021, is not for the weak, man. We're going to have to keep it strong. The village has to get together, and we're thanking God and looking forward to a successful year for you and all. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you next week on the Village Square.